Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks, and welcome to InkDependence.com. As you'll see from the thumbnail, we are looking at two inks today, and those inks come in these boxes. They aren't going to tell you much, so let's get these out of the way and look at the actual bottles. Oh, by the way, I do tend to write the names on the boxes just so that I can find them in my cabinet. But the boxes, or the bottles rather, are great. These are the Papier Plume inks for the Chicago Pen Show of 2018, which is coming up in about a week and a half now. I'll be there, and if you're there, come and see me and say hi. I'd love to shake a hand, bump a fist, rub an elbow, whatever the things are that we do to greet each other. You will have Da Blue, which is named for Da Bear. So this is a blue that matches pretty closely the Bear's uniform color. And this one is called Bootlegger's Sacrament, and this is more of a wine-colored ink. It looks very, very light purple here on the label, but this is actually kind of a deep burgundy. So let's take a look at those right now. Also, you see these little wax seals on the top. I think that's super cool. All right. Alrighty, so here are the inks themselves. You'll see on the left-hand side there the Papier Plume Bootlegger's Sacrament, which has shaded actually here very nicely. You get sort of this light burgundy over here, all the way to a super dark purpley black with some slight green sheen. If you put down enough of it, there is a little bit of sheen, but you're not going to see this very often. This is just rhodia paper, and this tends to make things sheen a little bit. And this is a ton of ink, actually. On this side, Da Blue for Da Bears, and this is a very nice sort of uniform blue color. I looked at the official Bears uniform color website thing that tells you what the colors are, and this is actually very, very close, so that's pretty cool. You'll have a little bit of shading in this one as well, as you can see in this swatch, and you get a little bit of sheen, perhaps. Maybe see a little bit in there, not a whole lot, and definitely not any. I haven't seen any with the regular writing. As far as performance and that sort of thing, these work great on good papers or medium grade papers. However, when you get to the lower grades of paper, like the Staples 20-pound office bond stuff, you get a little bit of feathering, you get a little bit of bleeding. Nothing too bad, but a little bit. You know, they are the last two here, and you can see here maybe a little bit of feathering here and there, just a couple. In here, but not much. And then on the back of the paper, you'll see a little bit of bleed through, but again, not much. And this is not great paper, this Staples stuff. So this is like the lowest grade paper. So you'll get a little bit of that. If you write only on crappy paper, then this is not going to be a great ink for you. But if you write on decent papers, at least most of the time, this will work out just fine. I've been really enjoying this in my Hobonichi Techo. It's been really good for writing appointments and all that kind of stuff that you do in a Techo. And so keep it on good paper and you'll be real happy with this stuff, I think. You have a nice color, a nice shading, all that jazz. Let's see. I've had this in 2 pens, or I guess each of these in 1 pen, because I haven't really had it that long, and I need to do some pen cleaning, I guess. But the Da Blue has been living in Da Lume, which is a medium nib. These have a fairly wet medium nib, and I've had no flow problems at all. These also have a good cap seal on them. I've never had them dry out, and these Papier Plume inks are traditionally very good at starting up and keeping going and all that jazz. The other pen I've been using is this one. I decided to use this nice, look at that beautiful chatoyance in there. This is a really gorgeous pen. I wish they had made more of these, but this is the Anderson Special Edition Delta Unica from a few years ago, and this also has a medium nib, and it's also a fairly juicy medium nib as far as those things go. And this one is been great. It's a really good color for this pen, and it's been a joy to write with. So there's that. There's my 2 cents there. Of the two of these, I think I like Bootlegger Sacrament a little bit better. Da Blue is, I mean, it's kind of a blue-black. It's kind of it leans a little bit green. I was seeing a little bit of gray, actually, when I was writing in my Hobonichi, because that tends to thin the ink out. It doesn't soak in, so it tends to thin. And you get a little bit of gray tones, which are kind of cool. So, I really like this one just fine for a blue-black, but this one's a little bit more interesting, I think. Let's go ahead and look at a couple other papers before we do our water test. This is an ink journal with the Tomoe River paper in it, and it is these 2 lines right here. Let's go ahead and scooch in a little bit more, because why not? There we go. So you have Da Blue up here and Da Bootlegger's Sacrament down here, and both of them I think look very nice on this paper. As I said, it works really well on Tomoe River. It's got a great color to it. So there you go. Also, I've got this beautiful blue down here. Look at this guy. That's Hawaii blue. I've really been enjoying that blue a lot too. All right, let's look at it on some wheat straw paper. This is a Inky Fingers notebook, a currently inked notebook. These things, by the way, are kind of essential if you're like me and you keep forgetting what inks you have in things. There's the Delta Unica's Bootlegger Sacrament. You can see it's a lot darker on this page than it is in the Tomoe River, and it's because it soaks in better here. And then there is the Da Blue from the Loom, and also Da Blue from the Esterbrook J. I have a zillion color comparisons to show you, but let's do water tests first. And actually, I'm going to do them both at the same time, because I am a wild man. A wild man, I tell you. All right, let's go ahead and get this going. Put some there, a little bit there. Do some action this way. There we go. Oh, spread her out a little bit, huh? There we go. Yeah, good. And you can see it's swirling away pretty well there. I'm not really expecting very much in terms of water resistance. And that is not very efficient. It's actually harder than you might think to pick up all this ink without getting it everywhere. I did manage to get ink all over my finger. That's fun. All right, there we go. So actually, these are much more water resistant than I thought they were going to be. I thought it was going to be a total mess. Oh, get out of there, Mr. Nose Hair or something. I thought it was going to be a total mess, but actually this is totally readable, so that's neat and unexpected. You never quite know what you're going to get from this kind of thing, and yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's look at the chromatography right quick. Here they are side by side, as you've just seen from the time-lapse stuff. These are actually really pretty chromatographies. I like the way the top notes are just blue and red, and the bottom notes are all kind of grays, which is pretty neat. I'm not sure exactly what goes into making these, but I know that Papier Plume makes or mixes these in-house with French pigments and that kind of stuff. So these are all pretty cool. Anyway, there you go. So this is why you probably get a little bit of that gray on the Hobonichi from Da Blue. It's probably because it has a lot of gray in it, and so when it thins out on that Hobonichi's Tomoe River paper, you end up with more of the gray showing through. But this is actually a really pretty bit of chromatography, I think. All right. Okay, let's look at about a zillion color comparisons. How's that sound? Yeah? Good. I knew you would be into that. Okay, so there's Da Blue. Let's go ahead and do that one first. Here is a pretty common blue-black to stick it next to, which is Noodler's 54th Mass, and then another one in the same kind of vein with the Athena Blue Black. I haven't gotten a chance to use this Athena Blue Black yet. I've got a sample of this from my friend Claire, and it is a real nice looking ink. I mean, you can see a lot of like sort of purpley reddish sheen in there that looks good, but neither of these has the same kind of greenish cast that you get from this this Da Blue. So let's look at some other ones. There are some here that are actually fairly close matches, I think. Here's one called Ellis Island Blue Black from Noodlers, and this is from Fountain Pen Hospital. My friend Jim gave me a sample of this. And then let's go ahead and put it next to this one, which is Diatramentis Plum, which I always think of plums as being kind of purple, but this is a very nice, I think this is actually, yeah, this is scented. I haven't used it all that much because scented inks kind of freak me out. I don't know, I don't like the scent very much. So anyway, these three are not terribly close to one another, but this one has something definitely in common with each of these. It's got the very deep blue-black of Ellis Island here, and then it's got a little bit of the hint of green that you get in this Diatramentis Plum. Now the next two are the ones that are really, I think, very close. So here it is. Here's this is Lamy Petrol. And then here is Aircore Blue Black. Whenever I want to have, or whenever I want to compare something to a blue black that leans green, Aircore Blue Black is really kind of the ticket, I think, because it always leans real green. And then Lamy Petrol is, it was a special edition Lamy ink from a year or two ago, maybe 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year. Yeah, I think it was last year. And it's got the same kind of green cast as well. It's much more green, I think, than Da Blue is. Da Blue is definitely more of a blue-black, whereas Petrol is kind of living in this weird space in between things. All right, let's go ahead and look at some Bootlegger Sacrament. Samples. There's the Bootlegger's Sacrament with all its burgundy glory. Let's put another wine color up there, which is Robert Oster's Claret. And then Diatramentis has one called Elderberries. This is another scented one. I don't know why I'm pulling all these scented ones lately, but I kind of am. Oh, this is from 2012. I got this in an ink drop from Goulet. I haven't used this one in a long time, it turns out. And these are both more purpley than Papier Plume's Sacrament. So this one is definitely more burgundy than it is purple. Let's see. What else have we got here? We've got Hippo Purple from Robert Oster, which is one of my favorite colors. I love this color. I don't really do purple that much, but this one's super cool. It's like they captured the color of hippo and put it in an ink. And then Robert Oster's Dark Chocolate, which is, to me, a very purpley sort of... Like, I'm not even sure it's brown, really. I mean, it looks purple to me. So I think that one's the closest I'm going to have to Papier Plume's Bootlegger's Sacrament. They're kind of close, although this is definitely more red. Somewhere in between these two things from Robert Oster. And then here's one more. This is Diamine Marlot. I was picking a bunch of wine colors for this one. So yeah, here we go. All right, so that's Papier Plume's 2 inks for the Chicago show. I forget how many of each of these are making. It's going to be enough, I think, for the show, and hopefully enough to have some extras afterwards. But these, I think, are definitely worth picking up, especially at the price these go for, which is pretty darn low. And you get these cool bottles. So bring a little extra space in your carry-on if you're flying to Chicago. Look me up. I will be around the show. If not, just like ask around. Somebody will have seen me. Stop by the Pay It Forward table and pay it forward if you have any pens or inks or whatever that are just not getting enough love from you and you don't want to bother selling them. Give them to the PIF table and they will make sure they get into good hands for, you know, kids or beginners or what have you. And I will see you at Chicago if you're going. If not, hopefully I will see you on the Friday live cast. Those are 4 p.m. Eastern time. I will be online almost every Friday at that time. So that's it. Thank you very much to Papier Plume for providing these for review, and I will see y'all later. Peace out. Ooh.